Okay, so we are back with our next screencast, and this is going to cover some of the understandings that go along with the actual content um, there. So these are the applications of the understandings. I misspoke there a second ago. All right, so we're going to cover 1 and 2 in this screencast, 3 in the next one, and then 4 and 5 to conclude section 2 there. So these are the applications to the functions and the parts of the brain and so forth and so on. So the first one being brain matter. Let's get a little bit of notes up here. And by brain matter, we're talking about the tissue within the brain. So the central nervous system is composed of either brain matter, it's going to be gray matter, or white matter. The white matter is actually lighter, but it's not really white. All right, remember white matter, the only difference here is whether it has myelin or not. All right, so any neurons that have myelinated axons is white matter. The cell bodies, the dendrites of any neuron, plus neurons that contain unmyelinated axon, composed of gray matter. What really is different here is what's the function of the two of them. All right, white matter connects various gray matter regions together. Why does it do that? Remember, myelin acts as an insulator. That's from 6.5. And so nerve signals are transmitted at a greater speed through white matter. Gray matter is the function or the area where information is processed. So information processed in gray matter, information connects various regions of gray matter through white matter. So a little on brain matter, a little now on brain metabolism. This is super easy as well. The main application here with metabolism is to understand that the brain consumes only about 20% of the body's energy by having only about 2% of the body's mass. When you take a look at it, so it has the same amount of energy needs as the muscles and other larger portions of your body. All right, muscles will take a huge amount of body mass. The liver takes up more than the brain. Why? Because energy is needed to maintain resting membrane potential. Okay, remember the voltage gated channels in the neuron, those are passive transport. But energy is needed to maintain resting membrane when neurons are not firing, and they're not always firing. And of course, they're needed to synthesize a lot of neurotransmitter to facilitate the communications between neurons through synapses. So you have brain metabolism. Lastly, we've got encephalization. This is a skill which we would normally find in a lab-based question, and that skill is really the analysis of the correlation between body size and brain size in different animals. And for this, IB presents this graph that we use. So as you read this graph, there is a positive correlation between brain and body size in different animals, where the larger animals, as you can see up here, tend to have larger brains. It follows a linear pattern of progression, but it's not directly proportional. So while an increase in body size resulted in an increase in brain size, all right, the brain to body ratio decreases in larger animals. Brain to body ratio. All right, so body mass increases disproportionately to an increase in brain mass, as most tasks only require really a fixed brain capacity. And where there is a correlation between body size and brain size, there really is not a correlation between brain size and intelligence. And aren't we happy for that? So encephalization, or the EQ that you see there, quotient, all right, scientists have derived the EQ, which attempts to provide a rough estimate of potential thinking ability, cognition. So the quotient is only applied to mammals, and higher values are indicative of higher predicted capacity for intelligence. So thank God, thankfully, humans have the highest EQ. All right, so there you have that. This screencast comes to a close.